Gallegeren, we and our slew, our triandaronig hun, Fuevod veser, Shantira shinche faste, Niog for Fuintira na Fuintral, Anak the him savana bwil, Legan er gwil can boss no sail, Legan a shrek, Vel lovok na peler, Shaliv Kanig Auron Levin.
Steve Galera agus fáilte go dtí cuimhnacán náisiúnta Aontú le haidh an Cosc. Welcome to the Aontú Commemoration for the 1916 Rising this Easter. You're very, very welcome along, and I appreciate your attendance today. Today we're going to remember the men and women who fought for Irish independence in Easter 1916. We're going to take a trip around the 32 counties of Ireland and listen to some of the many Aontú representatives talk about the many heroes that lived in their area who contributed to the struggle for Irish freedom. The Proclamation of the Irish Republic is a really important document. It is the vision document of the Republic. It sets out its vision for a free and independent democratic Ireland. It also seeks economic justice for all that lives in a society, and it asks us to cherish all the children of the nation equally. Aontú is committed to that vision. That is our raison d'etre. That's why we are here, and we recommit to that objective every Easter. I want to mention we're here in Ardbrackan, just outside of Navan, in County Meath today. We're at the grave of George McDermott, who died at the age of only 35 years old. George fought for Irish freedom during the War of Independence. He was active during the truce time, and also he fought during the Civil War. He was killed by Free State forces just outside of Navan in a place called Curratown, and tragically he lost his life. He's buried here with full military honours. And it's really important that we remember the individuals who gave up so much for our independence today. But it's also important that we focus on why they did it, the objectives that they had, and to hold those objectives important to us. Thanks very much for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of the commemoration. Gur míle maith agaibh.
Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which she receives her old traditions of nationhood. Ireland, through us, summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom. Having organised and trained her manhood through her secret revolutionary organisations, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and through her own military organisations, the Irish Volunteers and the Irish Citizens' Army, having patiently perfected her discipline, having resolutely waited for the right moment to reveal itself, she now seizes that moment, and supported by her exiled children in America and by gallant allies in Europe, but relying in the first on her own strength, she strikes in full confidence of victory. We declare the right of the people of Ireland to the ownership of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies, to be sovereign and indefeasible. The long usurpation of that right by a foreign people and government has not extinguished the right, nor can it ever be extinguished, except by the destruction of the Irish people. In every generation, the Irish people have asserted their right to national freedom and sovereignty. 6 times during the past 300 years, they have asserted it in arms, standing on that fundamental right and again asserting it in arms in the face of the world. We hereby proclaim the Irish Republic as a sovereign, independent state, and we pledge our lives and the lives of our comrades in arms to the cause of its freedom, of its welfare, and of its exaltation among the nations. The Irish Republic is entitled to and hereby claims the allegiance of every Irishman and every Irish woman. The Republic guarantees religious and civil liberty, equal rights and equal opportunities to all its citizens, and declares its resolve to pursue the happiness and prosperity of the whole nation and of all its parts, cherishing all the children of the nation equally, and oblivious of the differences carefully fostered by an alien government, which have divided a minority from the majority in the past. Until our arms have brought the opportune moment for the establishment of a permanent national government, representative of the whole people of Ireland and elected by the suffrage of all her men and women, the provisional government hereby constituted will administer the civil and military affairs of the Republic in trust for the people. We place the cause of the Irish Republic under the protection of the Most High God, whose blessing we evoke upon our arms, and we pray that no one who serves that cause will dishonour it by cowardice, inhumanity, or rapine. In this supreme hour, the Irish nation must, by its valour and discipline, and by the readiness of its children to sacrifice themselves for the common good, prove itself worthy of the august destiny to which it is called. Signed on behalf of the Provisional Government by Thomas J. Clark, Sean McDiarmid, P.H. Pearce, James Connolly, Thomas McDonough, Eamon Cant, and Joseph Plunkett.
This is Aontú Councillor Emma Doyle here in Derry City, beside Free Derry Corner, our local symbol of resistance, remembering all those who fought and died for Irish independence this Easter and every Easter.
Díobh go léir. My name is Emer Tobin and I'm your local Aontú councillor. I'm coming to you today from St Mary's Cemetery just outside the town of Navan, and I'm standing near the gravesite where lay the remains of volunteers from the War of Independence. I think it's important at this time of the year that we commemorate and salute them. I would also like to read out some of their names now. Thomas Murray, Thomas McKeown, John McNulty, Lawrence Sheehy, Terence Brady, Leo Dowling, Sylvester Heavey and Anthony O'Reilly. Let us all try and continue some of the great work that these men sought to achieve by fighting harder for a better democracy, for unity, economic justice, and to ensure that every child in this nation is treated equally. Here at Aontú we try and to reflect this vision in our work. It is important at this time of the year to take pause and commemorate these great men and salute them. Happy Easter to you all, and Gur Míle Maith Agaibh.
My name is Becky Keeley and I'm the Aontú representative for the Kanturk LEA area and for the Cork Northwest constituency. I'm here today at the Ballydrahan ambush site, which is situated on the main road between Kanturk and Newmarket. The ambush was deemed a success because one Crossley tender was completely taken out. No Irish volunteers were killed. The driver of the Crossley tender was shot dead and 8 other British soldiers were badly wounded. Volunteers, not just from Kanturk, but from Drumtariff, Liscarroll, Fremount and Newmarket all took part on the day. Local school children were asked to take a railway line not far from here to avoid the main road on the day. Rifles, guns and ammunition were retrieved that day. The centenary anniversaries of 2 of the volunteers take place later this month. Fian Joseph Collin from Liscarroll and volunteer John Mark Stokes from Kanturk. We should never forget the sacrifices that these people made so that we could have a united Ireland and be a free people.
Hello, Paul Lawless here. I'm here in Claremorris at the 1916 memorial site, the site that depicts two hands raising the flag of freedom and the chain on those arms broken. This weekend we remember the brave men and women who sacrificed their lives in the pursuit of freedom. Gurmila Magad.
Hi, this is Sarah here. I'm the Aontú Reps for Limerick. I'm up here at the 1916 commemoration to remember our fallen dead. 105 years ago they died to save us and to give us freedom, and I want to thank them for that. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Edward McManus from Aontú. I'm the local area representative for Castleknock, and we're here today to remember the brave men and women of 1916 and the War of Independence. We especially remember Martin Savage, who died here over 101 years ago. And this weekend we wear the Easter lily with pride in remembrance for the great sacrifice of these men and women.
My name is Mary T. Sweeney, an Aontú Rep in Letterkenny and Donegal, commemorating the role that Donegal and its people played in 1916. From Ballyliffin to Creasler, Cloghaneely to Dunlow, where we lost men on both sides. The leaders of 1916 had a vision of a new Ireland free from the shackles and injustices inflicted by British rule. The necessity to de-anglicise the Irish nation, a lecture by Douglas Hyde, himself a Protestant rector's son, is said to have inspired Casement, Plunkett, MacDonagh and Pearse, and others to promote and retain our Irish language and customs. Remember, 1916 was not just a political revolt, but it was also a cultural revolution, and Donegal was rich in native culture. Many of the leaders came to study their Irish here. Casement in Clonmany, Joseph Mary Plunkett between Tory and Cloghaneely. Pádraig Pearse himself first visited Cloghaneely to deliver classes on the promotion of the Irish language in 1906. As a barrister, Pearse's last case was in defending a Donegal man, Neil Nugil of Reach, who was charged for having his name in Irish on his cart. In 1914, when rallying the Irish volunteers in Donegal, MacDonagh addressed thousands in Ballyliffin, while Pearse spoke in Dunlow, invited there by John Sweeney and John Boyle. Pádraig Pearse's brother Willie was also executed in 1916. Willie had studied in Fannet as a boy for a year, but he returned to Letterkenny with his father as master craftsmen. They were sculptors that both worked in the cathedral here in Letterkenny, which is now closed, like every other church in Ireland. What would our Easter 1916 leaders say about this Irish government, who deny us the liberty of attending public worship this Easter? The only government in Europe to do so. Okay.
Hi, I'm Anna Daly. I'm the Aontú Rep in Cork South Central, and I'm here in Ballyfihan. I'm standing next to the Centenary Memorial, and on one side we have the Proclamation of Ireland's independence, and on the other side we have the names of the 7 signatories to the Proclamation here in Ballyfihan. There's a number of roads named after each of the signatories. Just up here is Kent Road, and we in Aontú want to remember the sacrifices that were made for us, for our independence in 1916, and we're encouraging everyone to purchase these Easter Lily badges. We also have wonderful copies of the Proclamation that you can buy and frame, and we'd encourage you to go onto our website, aontú.ie, and purchase these badges and wear them with pride, and remember what we've done, the sacrifices that were made on our behalf so that we can have freedom on this island of Ireland. Thank you.
Cormac O'Corcoran and show has come in Aontú na Gaillimhe. On Easter Monday 1916, the Irish Volunteers and Irish Citizen Army occupied positions all over the city of Dublin. They were led by poets, idealists, dreamers. Their actions that day seemed mad to those not involved, and for a time they were ridiculed by their own, and even despised. But the spark they ignited would become a flame which inspired a generation to remember that we are a nation, with our own language and people, to take our place among the nations of the earth. That was what they yearned for, ná Genemis Jarma there an Ashling Shin.
Hello, my name's Eric Nelgan of Aontú Limerick in the Midwest. Today I'm in the village of Meelick on the north side of Limerick in County Clare, a few miles out. I'm here to acknowledge Captain Patrick White. Captain White of the Meelick Company of the East Clare Brigade of the IRA was involved in an attack of the RIC barracks on William Street in Limerick. Captain White, along with one of his other comrades, was captured. He was held prisoner by the auxiliaries, where he was beaten badly and used as a human shield. He was subsequently transferred to Spike Island in Cork as a prisoner. One day, playing hurling, the slitter went out into an out-of-bounds area. Captain White asked the sentry if he had permission to retrieve the ball. The sentry promptly shot him in the back. His dying words were, "What will my people do now?" People like Captain White gave his life for this country.
My name is Finney Toomey. I am the Aontú area representative for Cork North Central. I am standing here this Easter at the Ballycannon Monument in Cloheen Kerry Point to commemorate the Ballycannon boys on behalf of Aontú. 6 brave men gave their lives on the 23rd of March 1921 after they were surrounded in a safe house at Cornelius O'Keefe's farm just behind the monument. They were Thomas Dennehy, Jeremiah O'Malan, Michael Sullivan, Daniel Murphy, William Deasy and Daniel Crowley. Areshte Garev Ananam Deelish. Aontú gives a solemn commitment in their memory to work tirelessly to create an environment in this country where a 32-county Irish Republic is achieved, where Catholic, Protestant and dissenter can live together in harmony and all of the children of Ireland are cherished equally. The time has come for real political change in this country. I ask you to join Aontú to achieve it. Garamila Mahagutsa.
Good eve, I'm Gemma Brawley. I'm the Aontú Rep for East Derry. As we celebrate Easter this year, and as with each Easter, we remember our brave patriot sons and daughters of Ireland who sacrificed their lives for an Irish Republic, a sovereign and independent state. The proclamation of the Irish Republic was then, is now, and always will be, a vision of what Ireland could be. Independent and democratic, economically just, a nation where we cherish all our children equally. Please join us in Aontú in achieving this vision. And achieving this vision for the future generations. Ar waithe ar díra, ar waithe ar bubble, ar waithe ar bwasti. Bí Gílan, Banachtaí na Casca Díomh Galéir.
Hello, my name is Gerard Sheehan. I'm the Aontú representative for the Ongar area. I'm here today in Mulhuddard Cemetery to remember those who fought and died for Irish freedom. And this Easter, we especially remember those who died in 1916. May they rest in peace.
Dave, it's Misha Groney Nick and I am the local area representative for the Ballygymstuff electoral area. On behalf of Cavan Aontú, I would like to take this opportunity to remember the Irish men and women who fought for independence in 1916. It was because of their efforts and commitments to our freedom that we are a republic today. I would also like to take this opportunity to remember all the local men and women who fought for independence over the years. I would like to wish you all a happy and safe Easter. Banachtaí na Casca Díomh Galéir.
Hello, this is Ian Noel Smith, Aontú representative for Dublin Central at Arbor Hill Military Cemetery. And here on this beautiful day, it's Good Friday, we have the burial plot of the leaders of the 1916 Rising. Also, we have the Proclamation wall, and we also have a memorial plaque to all those who died in the Rising in 1916. And I'd just like to read out the names of the leaders today. Thomas J. Clark, Thomas McDonough, Pádraig Pearse, Edward Daly, Michael O'Hanrahan, William Pearce, Joseph Plunkett, John McBride, Con Colbert, Eamon Cant, Sean Houston, Michael Mallon, James Conley, and Sean McDermott. And I would just like to say what great heroes they were, and today remember them all. This is Ian Noel Smith.
Díomh Accordia. My name is Jack Lynch, and I'm the Trim Area representative of Aontú. Today I'm here in Kilglass Cemetery, just outside Longwood in County Meath, to commemorate the life of Thomas Allen, an Irish volunteer who fought and died during Easter week 1916. Thomas was fighting in the Four Courts, and on the fourth day of the Rising he was barricading a window when a group of British soldiers passed by and fired a blast of machine gun fire through the window, hitting Thomas. Another Meath volunteer, Eamon Duggan, tried to send for medical attention, but his message was blocked at the dispatch by a British officer. By the time word reached Richmond Hospital and medical attention arrived at the Four Courts for Thomas Allen, it was too late. He had passed away. Today, we in Aontú wear our Easter lily to commemorate the lives of all our brave Irish men and women who fought and died for Irish freedom. We believe in Aontú in the values that the leaders of the 1916 Rising set out in the Proclamation. Life, unity and economic justice are the core of our beliefs. To cherish all the children of the nation equally. So, on behalf of Aontú, we would like to wish everybody a very happy and peaceful Easter.
It's Misha Joanne Murphy, and I'm the Cork Northwest Aontú LEA rep. I just want to speak a little about my, I suppose, what Easter 1916 means to me. Coming from the Fenian tradition, the strong Fenian tradition in Tipperary, it was so important for us between the risings that education and word of mouth and the spirit of the nation was kept alive and in times of real suppression of our culture. And as you can see here from the poster beside me, you can see the depictions of, you know, the struggle for independence, the keeping alive of the Gaelic culture, you know, and the importance of our language, our culture, our environment, everything really that makes us what we are. And very important for us today in Aontú is the maintenance of our core, those core national values. And so that for me is what the 1916 represents for me, is the, I suppose, the consolidation of us as a nation.
Josephine Bradley here of Aontú Red Oak. I'm at the Ashburn 1916 Memorial today, where Thomas Ashe led the brave volunteers in their fight for the independence we enjoy today. I proudly wear the Easter lily, the Aontú Easter lily, the lily remembering those who sacrificed so much for their vision of an independent, united Ireland for economic and social justice, and an Ireland where we can cherish all the children equally. The Aontú to me represents today a renewed energy and a hope for this vision.
Michael O'Dowd, Aontú Loud. I'm here on a plaque to commemorate the role a 26-year-old Joe Stanley played in the 1916 Irish Rising. Joe was a printer, publisher and press agent to the volunteers in the GPO. They realised that they needed to get their message out, and the person they chose was Joe Stanley. On the instructions of Pearse and using a revolver given to him by James Conley, Joe Stanley took over a printing press a few hundred metres from the GPO. There he and his colleagues moved between the GPO and where they were working to get the latest up-to-date news, which they published in the first publication of the Irish Republic, the Irish War News. After 1916 and the War of Independence, Joe moved to Drogheda, which is why we here in this town commemorate him and salute his involvement in 1916.
Hi, this is Lorraine Dean, Cork Southwest Aontú local area representative. I'm standing here in Dunmanway next to the grave of Sam Maguire, Dunmanway's most famous patriot. Sam was a close friend and a comrade of two very inspiring West Cork patriots, General Michael Collins and the lesser known Sean Hurley. Sean Hurley was the only Cork man to die in the 1916 Easter Rebellion. He was from Drina, which is about 9 miles south from here. In 1906, Sean Hurley moved to London, where he was sworn into the Irish Republican Brotherhood by Sam. He returned in early 1916 with Michael Collins to fight in Dublin in the rebellion, which claimed his life on the 29th of April, just hours before the rebels surrendered in the Four Courts garrison. His last words were, "Tell my mother I died for Ireland." Along with 20 other casualties, he was buried in a mass grave in Glasnevin Cemetery in Dublin. These events, which led to the foundation of the state, has provided subsequent generations with the freedom that we have today.
Hello, Luke Silk here, the Aontú representative for Tuam. This Easter time, it is important that we remember and celebrate the heroes of 1916. I'm thinking especially of my own great-grandfather, my grandmother's father, who was sentenced to death for his involvement in the rising here in Athenry in County Galway.
My name is Mary Tobin and I'm the Aontú rep for Dún Laoghaire. This morning I'm outside Dún Laoghaire Dart Station, otherwise known as Mallon Station. This was named after Michael Mallon, one of the very many brave Irish men and Irish women who fought in the 1916 Easter Rising. Michael Mallon paid the ultimate price with his life as he was executed a month later in Commemoration jail. Fuair Boss ar san Saoirse na hÉireann. As we approach the 105th anniversary of the 1916 Rising, we remember the sacrifice of all the Irish men and women who fought for our democratic freedom, for the objectives of economic justice, and for their commitment to cherishing all the children of the nation equally. We in Aontú share those same values. We continue to work towards those objectives, and we ask you to remember all those who fought in the 1916 Easter Rising by wearing an Easter Lily badge this weekend. These are available on the Aontú webpage, aontú.ie.
Good afternoon. Sonny Ford here, Aontú representative for Kerry. I stand here in Bannistrand, a wet Bannistrand as you can see, in front of a monument of one of the greatest patriots, Roger Casement. In 1911, he was knighted for his great work in highlighting the abuse of indigenous people around the world by foreign governments. He then focused his attention on his own beloved homeland and the freedom that the Irish crave for. He was arrested in McKenna's Fort, now called Casement's Fort, just up the road here from me. He was subsequently taken to Pinterville prison in London and was hanged. Roger Casement and great patriots like that give us the belief and the desire as Republicans that someday we will have a united Ireland.
Hello, as the Monaghan local rep for Aontú, I'd like to just take a moment to acknowledge a lady called Margaret Skinner, who many people may not know about. Margaret Skinner fought in the 1916 Rising, and she was from Tidavnet. Her father was from Tidavnet, same as my father was from Tidavnet. Her father moved to Scotland to get work, same as my father moved to Scotland to get work. But she was an enthusiastic supporter of the suffragette movement, women's equality, the Irish language, and an activist in the Anne Devlin branch of Commemoration in Glasgow. She first visited Dublin in December 1915 when she met Countess Markovich of the Irish Citizens' Army, which led directly to her involvement in the Easter 1916 Rising. She fought under Commandant Michael Mallon as a sniper in the College of Surgeons and was the only woman wounded in action. She also took part in the War of Independence and was interned during the Civil War. From 1928 to 1961, she taught in King's Inn Street National School, Dublin, and was elected president of the INTO in 1956. So just on the anniversary of the 1916 Rising, I wanted to pay tribute and acknowledge the part that Margaret Skinner played and her links to Tidallan and to County Monaghan.
This is Peter Devon, rep for Aontú for the Kells area in County Meath, and I'm just here at this commemorative garden in Kells to remember the fallen of Easter 1916 and their sacrifice for the freedom of Ireland. All around me you can see plates commemorating the 7 signatories, and the proclamation is etched here on a marble stone. And we in Aontú believe that we should commemorate these men with the highest honour and valour. Happy Easter and God bless.
I'm Mick Hammond, one of the local area Aontú representatives. We're at a time of the year now coming up to Easter, a very symbolic time for Irish people. At this time when we remember the people, the men and women who gave their life selflessly and sometimes made the ultimate sacrifice in the cause of Irish independence. One man, I'm standing here at a plaque in honour of him, Patrick Moran. Patrick was born in Roscommon and he moved to Dublin, and he took part in the Easter Rising of 1916 under the command of Thomas MacDonagh in Jacob's Biscuit Factory. He was then interned in Wales, and on his return he set about reorganising the IRA, and he became captain of the D Company of the Dublin Brigade. He was also a very active trade unionist in this town and nationally. He formed the Irish National Union of Grocers, Vintners and Allied Trade Assistants, and he was the branch organiser in this town, Dunleera. He was arrested in November 1920 after Bloody Sunday, and he was charged with the killing of a British Army intelligence officer. Despite the fact he had so many alibis to protest his innocence, he was found guilty and hanged by the British in Mountjoy Jail 100 years ago this month. He lay in Mountjoy in the prison yard with the other 9 members of the Forgotten 10, and he was reinterred 20 years ago in Glasnevin Cemetery after a state funeral. At this time of the year, it's important to remember the causes that Patrick Moran gave his life for Irish freedom, economic justice, in a republic that will cherish all our children equally. And we'd ask you to wear an Easter lily pin and to wear it with pride to commemorate the sacrifices of men and women like Patrick Moran in 1916. They can be purchased from the Aontú website.
I'm Paddy Haughey. I'm Unfinland's local area representative of Aontú. I'm here today to pay tribute to Harry McEntee, captain in the 1st Dublin Brigade of the IRA. He was murdered by the Free State soldiers in 1923. He was loyal to the Irish Republic on the 21st of January 1919 and was murdered by those who betrayed the Irish Republic the influence of Dublin Castle agents to enforce the 1920 Act, Government of Ireland Act, imposed by Britain and enforced by the Black and Tans. Today we see the result of this with a divided Ireland under the depraved leadership in this part of both parts of Ireland. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Kieran Hogan. I'm the Aontú representative for the Wicklow area, and today, in order to commemorate the Easter Rising, I'm here in People's Park in Bray, beside the Declaration of the Irish Republic. It was this document, along with the struggles and efforts of men and women who fought for our independence, that give us the country we have today. It's very important in time that we remember the Easter Rising, the events that happened, and the sacrifices that were made. That, along with everything else, led up to today, where we are a free and independent country. Not too far from here is the Fran O'Toole Bridge. Fran O'Toole, along with the other members of the Miami Show Band, were unfortunately murdered in a sectarian attack in Northern Ireland after playing a string of shows there. It's those sacrifices and many others throughout Irish history that we commemorate on Easter Sunday. remember those who have lost, remember what country we have because of them. Thank you ever so much.
Peter Whelan, Aontú Slane representative. I'm here at the Philip Clark Memorial Bridge, named after Philip Clark, the volunteer from he lived just up the road here in Monknewtown, who died 105 years ago, shot dead in Stephen's Green as a volunteer fighting for our freedom. Wear your Easter lily with pride and remember the volunteers that died before us. Thank you.
Thanks to all of the Aontú local area reps around the country who took part in today's commemoration. It's an incredible thing that right around Ireland at the moment we have hundreds of people joining Aontú. We're building a grassroots movement across the country, a people-powered organisation seeking to change Ireland, seeking to achieve the objectives of the Proclamation of the Irish Republic. And as I said earlier, it's really important that we remember these individuals. These were men and women like us, ordinary people that did extraordinary things for their country. But I ask you the question, what's more important in the memory of those individuals? That we stand here in graveyards and monuments across the country, or that we do our best to achieve the objectives that they had? I believe the best way that we can commemorate the men and women of 16 is to actually work our damnedest to see can we achieve those objectives of a free and democratic Ireland, of economic justice, and of cherishing all the children of the nation equally. Shockingly, Aontú is the only organisation currently across the country that has that vision at its core. I'm asking you to join us. I'm asking you to go to aontú.ie, the website, click on membership, sign the dotted line, commit yourself to the objectives of the Proclamation, and join Aontú, a new building movement across the country. Help us build that Ireland that was at the heart of the Proclamation. Help us achieve that republic. Guramila Mahagwif Glair, Buintan of us and Kosk, agus Fekime Shiv Gunwheel. Slán go fóill.
Fianna fáil atá bhui galegéireann buin dar slua ar tír do ránaigh chuam fuaigh bhód bhesair sean tír a sin seir fásta ní agfar faoin tír anna faoin trál anach de haim sa bharna bhfuil le gan bugail chun bás nó sil le gan líscreach bhfuil lábhar na biléir se libh canig árán na bhíon